Welcome to the Chris Hanna Show, your go-to podcast for diving deep into the world of solopreneurship. I'm Chris Hanna. I'm the all-in solopreneur. I've been there and I've done that in the realm of creating multiple one-person businesses. Each episode, I'm here to share with you all the insider tips, tricks, and lessons learned, sometimes the hard way, that have shaped my journey. So whether you're just starting out or you're looking to scale your solo venture, this show is your personal playbook for success. So buckle up and join me as we explore the highs, the lows, and everything in between on the road to successfully winning as a solopreneur. Let's go all in. All right, welcome to another episode of the Chris Hanna Show. I'm talking about something that I just got to get off my chest. You see, I am frustrated. This week I got a little triggered. I saw somebody on social media post what they recommended people should do in order to grow their business. And it was so annoying and it was so frustrating that it honestly pissed me off quite a bit. So I decided I want to have this week's episode talk about it. So I'll tell you right now, there's a rant coming in 3, 2, 1. Somebody online said, you need to DM 100 people a day. You need to comment on 50 to 100 people's posts a day. You need to connect with as many people as possible and send your maximum allowable connection requests per day. That you need to try and get yourself to tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands of followers. I've had other people say that you need to get bots and you need to use pods in order to grow and be focused intently on the likes, the comments, the shares, and everything that you get. I'm here to say, this has been an uncensored version. That's bullshit. You don't need to do any of that crap. Far too many people espouse that you need to have this hustle culture when it comes to growing your business, how to create $10,000, $20,000 months to really be successful as a solopreneur. But it's an absolute waste of fucking time, in my opinion. To sit there and send 100 connection requests over the course of a week or 100 DMs per day to people or to comment on 100, people's posts is absolutely asinine. Because you're generating traffic and looks, but you're playing just the quantity game versus the quality game. And it's ultimately going to get you nowhere. It's going to get you wasting a lot of time and a lot of energy. I spent time doing some of these strategies and got nowhere from it. And I know there are people who are doing it and they are successful, but I can tell you for most people, it's way too much time wasted because one, you got to pick your platform. Is it going to be LinkedIn? Is it going to be Facebook? Is it Instagram? Are you doing TikTok? What are you doing? I think it's important to engage on social media. It's called social media for a reason, but to sit there and spend all of your time just making an insane amount of DMs and comments and stuff on people is honestly not going to be as productive. I would love for one of these idiots to actually start to share what their conversion rate is on how many people that they actually get leads from when they DM 100 people a day. How many of those people actually turn into customers? How many turn into customers within 24 hours? How many people turn into customers within a week, 2 weeks, a month? I guarantee you the percentage is pretty low. But people can continue to espouse this. Just do this, DM. That's the way you're going to get followers and all this crap. But it's not going to be the quality that you're looking for. So I have realized that a lot of people who do this are just full of shit and they don't really know what to actually do. And I've gained a lot of different insights over the course of my time being a solopreneur, and I've done it in a way that I'm not burnt out. So here's what I'm going to share is some of the ways that I think anyone listening to this should either grow their business this way, or they should, as a solopreneur, continue to, foster it and go all in and bet on themselves, as opposed to all the other bullshit ways that people are talking about. So first, I think you got to first realize that focusing on your follower count is a really shitty KPI. You got to build the right audience, not just anyone being part of your audience, because I think that's the problem with a lot of people who are trying to grow so fast. Yes, I get it. You want to sit there and have large numbers, and then you've got the credibility, and maybe you've got some people who are going to engage more with your content, and that gets seen. And while the audience size is important, it shouldn't be the only thing that you focus on. It's about the quality of your audience. I have now done 2 what I call purges of my audience on LinkedIn in particular. I don't have a massive following on LinkedIn. I've been on it for a while. I'm consistent on it, and people comment all the time and ask me, how come you don't have more followers? Well, part of the reason is that I have purged a lot of my audience because I accepted the wrong people. The wrong people would include folks who are just trying to sell me something. They don't ever engage with my content, but what they do is they clearly just want to connect with me to try and pitch me something that is useless. And we call that a pitch slap because they come out of the gate hard. All they're doing is trying to sell, sell, sell. I found at one point, and this might be late 2022, that I had 40% of all of my connections on LinkedIn were just people trying to sell me. So what I realized is that the algorithm doesn't really want to help me there either, because what it does is it shows it to a percentage of my audience. Well, if it shows to those people who are not supporting me in any way whatsoever, obviously that does no good. So I went through and I did a purge. I got rid of over 50% of my connections to kind of rebuild who I am, to get the right audience. And then a year later, I decided to do it again because, again, I probably had gotten a little bit impatient, I should say, and accepted the wrong people. You got to build the right audience, the right people that you're looking for. I still know that across some of my channels, I need to find the right audience because some of the stuff that I do talk about, some people, they're not really for it. And that's not their thing. And so you got to find the right people who are going to support your content, that you want to support their content, you want to see their content. I know that I need to maybe clean up who my audience is when I find that there's nothing that I can respond to or comment on because, again, I'm following the wrong people. So don't just accept everyone. Quality matters, not just quantity. Next thing I think that's really critical for people to realize is to not play small. Low ticket sucks big time. And by that, I mean, like, it is very, very frustrating to be focused on price. And when you price so low, I don't think you honestly get what you're worth. I saw somebody post last week saying that they had just turned one of their products into a $20 product and that they had made $100 that day. And they had DM'd 100 people and sending out messages and they made $100. Well, that's a waste of time, in my opinion. Why go and DM 100 people to only make $100 if your product is 20, which means you have a 5% conversion rate? You're better off going high ticket. And by high ticket, I mean like you're going a few $1,000s for some sort of product. So something that's obviously hopefully worthwhile that people want and it's going to solve a major problem. But like, if you go high ticket versus low ticket, you got way less customers to actually work with, depending on your income goals. And you have less drama to deal with when you charge the right amount. Like, charge what you're worth. So for some of my products that I'll do, I'm charging anywhere from, at the low end, the lowest thing I actually charge is $500 to, upwards of $5,000 to $8,000 a month for some products. And so if I'm trying to, let's do easy math. If I'm trying to make $20,000 a year, I mean, at $20,000 a month, if I was $20,000 a year, that'd be a problem. $20,000 a month, you only need 4 customers, maybe at $5,000, or maybe you only need 10 customers at $2,000 in order to ultimately achieve the revenue that you're looking for. But if you're pricing stuff at like $50, $100, that's a lot more customers you need to get in front of. And it's a lot more time it's going to be drained from you, and you're going to burn out. So don't go low ticket, go high ticket. Thing is, you also got to do is you got to build the right offer, something that actually solves a problem for someone. And the only way you're going to know if whether it solves a problem is by getting feedback along the way. Like, I made some major mistakes early on when I became a solopreneur, is that I put together offers thinking that they're great and then failed to get feedback initially. And then I found that nobody was buying. Nobody was interested because, again, I didn't get feedback. I didn't know whether it was actually solving the problem or not. I assumed. You got to do some research to find out what's the right product for you ultimately. Now, this next one I'm going to say, it's probably going to sound self-serving, but I'm going to say it anyways because I do think it's a lesson that I learned that was really critical to helping grow a business, and that you got to batch create enough videos that you're set up well in advance. So longtime followers and listeners of me know that I have a company. It's called All In Content. We batch record videos and we schedule that for social media out. So it's, one thing you don't have to think about as a business owner or a business. Like, we do it months in advance. I always say one session with us will set you up for months or more. So the reason I say it as a big lesson is that because As I started batch creating my own content, I realized I was able to gain more time back to actually fulfill and work on my client stuff, as opposed to just trying to figure out how do I continue to pump out marketing. Do it in a batch. I've batch recorded my entire content for 2024 well in advance, so everything is scheduled and automated. And then as I do new stuff like this episode here that I'm doing, it's easy for me to put together, and it's not draining. It's not something that burns me out. Get ahead of schedule. That's going to help you every single time. Also know that consistency is key. And by this, I mean, when you consistently show up online, posting content, and in my case, I believe video is the best content you should do, it's going to convey that, hey, you've got your shit together, and that people are going to maybe want to start to eventually work with you. Because the reality is this, is that on social media, there are more people lurking in the background than there are people actually posting content. So if people continually see you because you stand out, you're in the minority, you have a better chance of actually winning business. I've won business because people have just consistently seen me. I've had no interaction with them, but then eventually they come to me and say, hey, I've seen you consistently. I've seen some of your videos. You're a force. You're consistent. You're always out there. I want to do the same. Let's work together. I'd love to be able to have you just take care of my social media for me. It's because I'm consistently showing up, and that's because I'm using the system of batch recording videos and scheduling that content for release across all my channels. You could be maybe just doing 4 to 5 times a week, or maybe it's once or twice a week, but like just get ahead of schedule. But take an omnipresent approach. And by that, I mean, be seen where your customers are. So if your customers are primarily hanging out on Facebook, be on Facebook. I neglected Facebook for, well, I would say like many years. I had a Facebook account when I was in university, and I did not have one that I was active on until this year. So I went almost 20 years without being actually active on Facebook. And I just neglected because I didn't think it was for me. I thought it was honestly just it was just a platform I didn't want to be on. But then I realized, and I've come to learn, well, there's value in that platform. And there are people lurking there, yes, but there are a lot of people who are daily checking in on what's going on Facebook, and that might be more of the customers. I had been led to believe that LinkedIn was the place where I was going to get a lot of my business. And honestly, that's something I have not seen. I've not seen the ROI from LinkedIn compared to even just a couple posts on Facebook. I get more engagement on Facebook from people. I get power in the groups and the networking and the opportunities. So finding out where your customers are. Turns out my customers were there. They weren't on LinkedIn. Maybe some of them will be at some point, but as of right now, Facebook's been more lucrative. Instagram, I haven't found any success either. So again, Facebook, and then there's also power in YouTube, and there's TikTok as well. I don't go onto the other ones. I'm not doing Snapchat, or I don't do Pinterest or anything at this point either. But again, go where your customers are, but make sure that you are posting in an omnipresent way. So even though I don't prioritize, let's say, Instagram, my content's always posted to Instagram. It's always there for people to see. Another thing I think that's really been critical and important that I want everyone to remember is this, and this might sound very strong, but fuck the algorithm. Optimize your content for people, not for robots. Because if you try and just do what the platform wants you to push, you just become, I guess, reactive is the word. You're chasing the validation from the platform versus the people itself. Create content that really shares your personality, your story, your experiences. Have fun. Show them who you are. Show a personal side to yourself. And focus more on the relationships and the people side than what the algorithm wants. Like LinkedIn, again, sounds like I'm bashing LinkedIn today, but hear me out on this one. LinkedIn goes through a number of different algorithm changes. There was a time where video was being heavily pumped, right? And then they switched it polls became the biggest thing. So everyone was doing a poll. And then it became carousel posts, and everyone started doing carousel posts. Then it became like selfie style videos where everyone's just, doing that. And then it became just like pictures, and then it's text only. And so you go through all of these different variations where it's like, you got to pick what's right for you and your message. Like for me, I absolutely hate fucking writing. I can't stand it. I hate it. But video, I can do that all day. Audio, I can do that all day. No problem. Something where I actually convey my message myself, my personality, my energy, the way I talk is something that I think is important for me. But if I had to write everything out into a boring text post, those things don't perform well for me. But maybe they perform well for you. Ultimately, it's about figuring out what is the best format that's going to ultimately help win you business. That's what it's about. So that's it. That's the play. That's how you win as a solopreneur. Don't worry about DMing people to the level that people are talking about. Don't worry about sending your maximum allowable connection requests. Don't be trying to comment on 50 to 100 posts per day, because honestly, you're going to get very little value and ROI from it. Again, you don't need hundreds of thousands of followers in order to win this game. You don't need to rely on bots. You don't need to rely on pods. You don't need to sit there and focus on just the number of likes and comments and stuff you get. You just need to make sure you're pumping out your content, being consistent and being seen. If you need help, if you're looking for assistance, if you want to talk through your content strategy, of course, I'm willing to do that. I've got my monthly coaching that's available. You can visit allincontent.ca today. Actually, a special discount for anybody who comes from this podcast. I'm getting 10% off my rates actually for the next 3 months if you are looking for that. So just DM me saying that you came from the podcast, and I'm happy to hook you up with, again, discounted coaching there as a result of this. So again, you can ask me anything in this coaching too. It's all about business development. It's about growing your brand personally, professionally. Always happy to chat. We'll hop on a virtual Zoom call and we can see if we're a good fit. Because you know what? Might not be a good fit for everyone. So we want to figure that out before you go spending any money. So I guarantee you this, that first, call that we jump on, that Zoom, you're going to get more value from it than anything else that I think you can find online. Because I give everything I have to those people that I support. And I love talking content. I love talking, growing businesses, and I love talking to solopreneurs and entrepreneurs. All right, that's it for this week. Let's go all in together. And that's a wrap for today's episode of The Chris Hanna Show. Thank you for tuning in and going all in with me on this journey. If you're craving more opportunities to supercharge your solopreneur journey, don't forget to visit allincontent.ca. At All In Content, we're dedicated to providing top-tier content creation and strategy services. We help solopreneurs like you make a big impact with your one-person businesses. We do this through video creation. We not only record, edit, caption those videos, we also schedule them on social media for you so that you have a consistent presence that continues to bring you business month after month after month. Remember, in the world of solopreneurship, your story is your strength, and we're here to help you tell it. Until next time, stay motivated, stay focused, and more importantly, stay all in. I'm Chris Hanna, and I'll catch you on the next episode. Keep pushing boundaries and making waves.